every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, where I answer your questions about how to get rid of your head trash, how to get unstuck, find your voice, and automate your business so you can have more time freedom, personal freedom, and financial freedom. Wouldn't you like more of those things? I'm pretty sure most people would like to have more time freedom, more personal freedom, and more financial freedom. So that's what I'm here to do. And I've got my Australia sweatshirt on today because I got this sweatshirt when I went to Australia a few years ago. So I look forward to going back there again real soon. So hi to everybody down there, down under, all the Aussies and also all the Kiwis down in New Zealand and everybody around the world. So I'm here on NoahNation.com every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on the Ask Noah St. John show. And I am Noah St. John from NoahSt.John.com and Afformations.com. Now today our topic, well, I'm going to continue our look at one of my favorite books. It's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. And today's chapter is entitled How to Cure Depression in 14 Days. Have you ever felt depressed? Have you ever felt melancholy? Have you ever felt just like frustrated, angry? Just wondering like, man, what am I doing here? What's going on? How come this isn't working? I've been trying all this stuff, or I'm overwhelmed and there's just too much to do in too little time. Have you ever felt like that? I know I have. I've felt all those things. So this chapter has helped me a lot and to get through a lot of tough times. Now he tells a lot of stories in this chapter. And these are really, really inspiring stories. I'm going to try to, because they're kind of long, I'm going to try to read the shortest ones. But basically, here's the point of how to cure depression in 14 days. Here's the most astonishing statement I've ever read from the pen of a great psychiatrist. The statement was made by Alfred Adler. He used to say to his melancholia patients, you can be cured in 14 days if you follow this prescription. Try to think every day how you can please someone. The statement sounds so incredible that I feel I ought to try to explain it by quoting a couple of pages from Dr. Adler's splendid book, What Life Should Mean to You. Melancholia is like a long continued rage and reproach against others. So they're basically saying melancholia back in those days. This is the early 1900s. Another way of saying depression. Okay. Long continued rage and reproach against others, though for the purpose of gaining sympathy, the patient seems only to be dejected about his own guilt. A melancholiac's first memory is generally something like this. I remember I wanted to lie on the couch, but my brother was lying there. I cried so much that he had to leave. Melancholiacs are often inclined to revenge themselves by committing suicide, and the doctor's first care is to avoid giving them an excuse for suicide. I myself try to relieve the whole tension by proposing to them as the first rule in treatment, never do anything you don't like. Never do anything you don't like. Isn't that interesting? Now, he goes on, this seems to be very modest, but I believe it goes to the root of the whole trouble. If a melancholiac is able to do anything he wants, whom can he accuse? What has he got to revenge himself for? If you want to go to the theater, I tell him, or go on a holiday, do it. If you find on the way that you don't want to, stop it. Generally, the patient replies, but there's nothing I like doing. I've prepared for this answer because I've heard it so often. Then refrain from doing anything you dislike. Sometimes, however, he will reply, I should like to stay in bed all day. I know that if I allow it, he will no longer want to do it. I know that if I hinder him, he will start a war, so I always agree. There's another rule. I tell him you can be cured in 14 days if you follow this prescription. Try to think every day how you can please someone. See what this means to them. They are occupied with the thought, how can I worry someone? Some say this will be very easy for me. I've done it all my life. They have never done it. I ask them to think it over. They do not think it over. You can make use of all the time you spend when you're unable to sleep by thinking how you can please someone, and it will be a big step towards your health. And then he goes on, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. Why should I try to please others? Others do not try to please me. You must think of your health, I answer. The others will suffer later on. That's a little weird, but there you go. It is extremely rare that I have found a person who said, I've thought over what you suggested. All my efforts are devoted towards increasing the social interest of the patient. The most important task imposed by religion has always been love thy neighbor. It is the individual who is not interested in his fellow person who has the greatest difficulties in life and provides the greatest injury to others. Now that's a really great quote there. See, do you agree with that? Let me know. By the way, make sure you send me some hearts, smiley faces, and thumbs up if you enjoy what I'm reading here, if you enjoy these programs. It is the individual who is not interested in his fellow person who has the greatest difficulties in life and provides the greatest injury to others. It is from among such individuals that all human failures spring. All we demand of a human being, and the highest praise we can give them, is that he should be a good fellow worker, a friend to all others, and a true partner in love and marriage. Dr. Adler urges us to do a good deed every day. What is a good deed? A good deed, said the Prophet Muhammad, is one that brings a smile of joy to the face of another. Very, very interesting. And then some other long stories here. So this is, now here's a great story that I think about all the time. I've marked this chapter and I think about this story a lot, okay? It has really meant a lot to me over the years and I think about it all the time. So let me know if you like it too. Thinking of others will not only keep you from worrying about yourself, it will also help you to make a lot of friends and have a lot of fun. How? Well, I once asked Professor William Phelps of Yale how he did it. Here's what he said. I never go into a hotel or a barber shop or a store without saying something agreeable to everyone I meet. I try to say something that treats them as an individual, not merely a cog in a machine. I will ask a barber how he came to take up barbering, how long he's been at it, how many heads of hair he's cut. I'll help him figure it out. I find that taking an interest in people makes them beam with pleasure. One extremely hot summer day, I went into a dining car on the New Haven Railway to have lunch. The crowded car was almost like a furnace, and the service was slow. When the steward finally got around to handing me the menu, I said, the boys back there cooking in that hot kitchen certainly must be suffering today. The steward began to curse. At first, I thought he was angry. Good God Almighty, he exclaimed. People come in here and complain about the food. They kick about the slow service and growl about the heat and the prices. I have listened to their criticism for 19 years, and you are the first person and the only person that has ever expressed any sympathy for the cooks back there in the boiling kitchen. I wish to God we had more passengers like you. The steward was astounded because I had thought of the cooks as human beings, not merely as a cog in the organization. What people want is a little attention as human beings. How many times have I said that to you, right? We all want attention and recognition. When I meet a man on the street with a beautiful dog, I always comment on the dog's beauty. As I walk on and glance back over my shoulder, I frequently see the man petting and admiring the dog. My appreciation has renewed his appreciation. One time in England, I met a shepherd and expressed my sincere admiration for his big, intelligent sheepdog. I asked him to tell me how he trained the dog. As I walked away, I glanced back over my shoulder and saw the dog standing with his paws on the shepherd's shoulders, and the shepherd was petting him. By taking a little interest in the shepherd and his dog, I made the shepherd happy, I made the dog happy, and I made myself happy. Can you imagine a person who goes around shaking hands with porters and expressing sympathy for cooks in the hot kitchen and telling people how much he admires their dogs? Can you imagine a person like that being sour and worried and needing the services of a psychiatrist? You can't, can you? Of course not. A Chinese proverb puts it this way: a bit of fragrance always clings to the hand that gives you roses. Okay, so the point is, if we are going to make things better for others, let's be quick about it. I shall pass this way but once. Therefore, any good that I can do or any kindness that I can show, let me do it now. Let me not defer it nor neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. You know, that story that I just shared with you, I think about that story a lot, about the man who was in the hot car, the railway car, and he basically thought of something other than himself. I do that all the time. And now I have an interesting experience that I have worked at many, many jobs over my lifetime. Before I got into this work that I'm doing now of coaching and mentoring, I worked as a waiter, I worked as a housekeeper, I worked as a secretary. I worked at a lot of jobs that, required me to serve other people. And I noticed exactly what the story is saying, that most people just treat you like a cog in a wheel or like nothing, right? When you're in those kind of positions. And for example, when I was a secretary, I remember that people would always try to get around me, right? You know, I'm the gatekeeper and they try to get to the boss. Well, what's so funny is the boss didn't do anything that I didn't tell him to do. If I didn't tell him to do it, he didn't do it. If I wanted to get a message through to him, I got it through. If I wanted to block a message, that message never got through. So that person who was being rude to me, he didn't get served. So now I realize when I'm talking to people on the phone, you know, if I'm talking to an executive assistant or a secretary or an administrative assistant or an office manager or something like that, you know, a title that most people would just sort of ignore or try to get around, I always talk to that person like a real person because I was them. I did that job. And also when I'm in a restaurant, when I take that vet out to a restaurant, to dinner or lunch or whatever, I always treat the server as a person because they are a person because I was that person. And also whenever we go to hotels, when I'm speaking at events all around the world, I remember that I worked as a housekeeper. I was cleaning toilets. I was washing people's sinks out who, you know, were rich. I was working at a 5-star inn in Kennebunkport, Maine. You know, I had no money and here I was serving all these rich people. Well, now I'm a rich person, but am I better than that server, that housekeeper, that assistant? No, I'm not better. I have figured out a way. I've, you know, put in the work to create leverage, to create products, to create programs, to write books and things like that. I've just taken what's in my head. I did a lot of thinking and then I did a lot of work, writing, creating, launching, marketing, and so on and so on. So am I better than that person? No, I've just done things to create the life that I wanted, the lifestyle that I wanted. So that's how I treat people. That's how I talk to people. I enjoy doing it. And I do notice that I get better service. We always have great service, you know, whether we're in hotels or restaurants. And Babette does the same thing. Now, she just does it naturally. I had to read lots of books in order to get there. But the point is both of us do that to people. And one thing I admire about Babette is, you know, she'll treat the janitor or the president exactly the same way. And I try to be that way too, because they're all people. We're all people. So when you're going through your day to day, when you're going through your life, look at the people as people. You know, maybe you haven't had the experience that I have of working these different jobs. So maybe you have to use your imagination and say, gee, I wonder what that person's life is like, you know, and maybe you're not getting served and you're getting like impatient. I get impatient. I know that. And, you know, then I just try to take a deep breath and I go, okay, no, they're working hard, right? You know, they've got a job. They've probably got a family. So just relax. All right. You're going to get your food or you're going to get whatever. Just, you know, you created this great life and, you know, just bring a smile, share a smile. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you anything to be nice, right? Why not be nice? Why not give that rose, as, you know, the quote was just saying, give that rose and then let some of that fragrance come off on you. So if you like today's message, send me some hearts, some smiley faces, some thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts. And also make sure to share this program and tag your friends and be here every Monday through Friday right here on NoahNation.com, where I will answer your questions about how to get rid of your head trash, how to get unstuck, find your voice, automate your business so you can have more time freedom, personal freedom, and financial freedom. And so you can leverage what you already have to get more of what you want. So for everyone at SuccessClinic.com, I'm Noah St. John signing off for now. And until next time, we'll see you next time, everyone. All right. Until next time, I look forward to being a part of your success story. See you next time, everyone. Bye-bye for now.